Guys, I'm ready to be in the house of the Lord today. Amen. Yes, God. I'm ready. I'm ready to come to church. Y'all with me yet? Yes. Hang in there. Amen. I'm just waiting for everybody to get settled. Everybody get settled. I said, I'm going to speak to you just a little bit about ministry to the city. And Brother Jeff, you always talk about that. Well, get it, and we'll quit. I just want to talk to you, I'm going to refresh your memory a little bit about ministry to the city. And how, listen, man, we got a lot of things that we do here. And we have a lot of things, a lot of ministries that we have. We have a lot of ministries that go out of this church. I don't know if you guys know this, but this church in Seminole, Oklahoma is second in the district every year in national missions giving, not national, district missions giving. We give over $10,000, almost $12,000 a year in missions overseas. It's okay to clap for that if you guys do it. I don't do that. I don't write a check for $12,000. It's okay to clap for yourself. Amen? And so we are always second in district. The only one that we're over shorter than is Tecumseh, and they do a big push for that. They do a big thing, and they're all involved in world missions. If we were all involved like that, we wouldn't be number one too, but I'm just saying. But they do a big thing, and thank God for them. They give over $20,000 a year to world missions, and they're awesome. And I love Brother Sister Owen's heart. And they just man that church, and they give to world missions. Tommy, can you give me a little bit of volume so I don't have to yell my voice out? Thank you. And so they are very mission minded, and they do a lot of things. And so, but I think we are too. I think we have a lot of ministries that go out of this church. One of the things I think a ministry to the city is when we have remnant go to the nursing homes, and they go and they speak to them, and they minister to them, and they sing, and it's amazing to watch people who look like they're not even home, and they start singing those songs, and boom, their attention is drawn, and they begin to sing those songs again. It's amazing to watch. If you've never gone to a nursing home, don't say, I can't go. Yes, you can. You can go. I don't like the smell. It's 30 minutes. I mean, go. If you get an opportunity, I've only been to 3 or 4. I don't get to go to everything either. But man, I guess that's where I learned how to preach, is in the nursing home. And so that's what we used to do, is go to nursing home every Friday night, amen? And so we did that. And so what happened is this, is you go and you just watch. Don't go with tunnel vision. Go watch what's around you. Amen. And see what's going on. And pay attention to the people. And man, I'm telling you, their attention is bam. As soon as they start playing those songs, and Lisa's playing, I know at a Pioneer in the out of tune piano, and I know David was trying to tune his bass to it, and she's like bang bang. I said, yeah, try to get that, buddy. Bang bang. It was bad, but anyway, but it all works out. It all works out, you know, and so you just do the best you can with what. But I'm telling you, it just draws them, and it's ministry to the city, and you guys are doing that. And Mark and Doris have taken over the community lunch, outreach lunch, and I know that there's several people help. I don't want to start naming names, but they have started organizing that, and so that we feed about, I think it was 64 people the last Monday. It's usually around 100 people that get fed here for free, and it's amazing that what happens is. And we got little cards to give them hello, you know, just to touch base with everybody and let them know who we are. But that was a ministry to the city outside of here. The van, people who drive the vans and go pick up kids on Wednesdays, Kim and April, and they go drop kids off. That's a ministry to the city because you're ministering to those children. Regardless of how we feel about what's going on in their home and then what's going on in their home lives, and regardless how we feel about if they act right or don't act right, we are ministering to those children and helping them. Sunday school teachers, the way that you prepare your lessons and you're ready. Now, if you're not ready, not prepared, then I'm not talking to you. But I'm talking about that if you're prepared and you're ready and you have your stuff ready to go and you have A, B, C, and D, and this is what we're going to do. You're ministering to your city, whether you know it or not. You're ministering to those people. And everybody that walks in this door and somebody opens the door for them and shakes their hand, hugs them next, says, hey, thank you for being here. You're ministering to your city. For everybody that, listen, how many came in here and you had to move trash? Nobody. You know why? Because somebody ministered to you and vacuumed and swept and mopped and made sure there was toilet paper, paper towels, and there was soap. Somebody did that and ministered to the city. And so I know we do a lot of things. That's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just what's on the top of my head. And so that's just the tip of the iceberg. But let me just share something with you. Jesus gave us a directive to minister to the entire city. Amen. Not just to the ones we like. That's right. Help me out. Not just for this, just so we can all sit and have the same color people in the same house. Right. Preach on, brother. Believe a will. Believe a will. Somehow, some way, we've got to break the racial barrier.
Amen.
I don't know how to do it. I've tried it for, how long have I been preaching now, Lord? 25 years. I've tried it. I got to figure out a way that it's not just a white church, a Mexican church, an Indian church, a black church. I've got to figure out how to break it to where it's just God's house. There's one church, His church. One church, His church. I was listening to a pastor, what was the one that Brother James told me to listen to, John Gray. I never listened to John Gray. All John Gray ever knew was the guy who wrote the books about men and women's relationships. And I clicked on, and I was like, that's not him. John Gray's a little white dude. John Gray, I was listening to preach, big black guy. Unless he's changed. But John Gray was preaching, and he said that he's one of the associate pastors at Lakewood in Houston. And he said he had some of his peers, some people he's known for a long time, came up to him and said, why are you going to that white church? And he said, I didn't know I was going to a white church. He said, well, the pastor's white. He said, I understand that, but I thought I went to a red church because we're all supposed to be covered in the blood. And I thought that was pretty stinking good. We're supposed to go to a red church, right? Covered, sanctified, set free, right? Saved. Old folks just call it saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. I don't know what we call it now. Can I just share a little secret with you? If that's actually 92 on that attendance board, we got some work to do. That's a bunch of nonsense. Amen. I just saw him put it up. If that's the actual number, I'm already mad. I need to repent before I preach. Okay, listen. Jesus gave us a directive to go and minister. Ministry to touch all parts of the city, not just the parts we like. Not just the people we like. Not just the ones we like. Not just the color we like. Not just the neighborhood we like. Not just the economical people we like. What do you mean the economic status? Poor folks, white, poor folks, middle folks, rich folks. All of them have to be ministered to. Every person in the city has to have an encounter with God. It's not just about, well, we got to find those poor people. No, wait a minute. Hold on. It's not just the poor people that need God. Everybody needs God. Everybody needs an encounter with Jesus. Everybody. Not simply, well, if I can find some broken up people that don't have nothing. And we need to seek those people. I'm not saying we don't need to seek those people, but how about somebody whose marriage looks like it's all together? Come on. Y'all heard of the Menendez brothers, right? They wasn't poor. They were just jacked up. Come on. I use that because it's going to be a series on NBC. I can make a series on it, I don't know. But it's a series on NBC fixing to come up. And I use that because all of us who lived through it remember the trial and all the stuff. They weren't poor, they were just messed up. Help me now. John Benet Ramsey, anybody know them? They weren't poor, they were just jacked up. Come on, help me now. You don't have to be poor to be jacked up, and just because you're poor don't mean you're jacked up. Somebody help me.
Amen.
Help me. It don't matter. Your economic status doesn't equal your jacked upness. You hear me? That's the only way I can tell you. That's the only way I can say it makes sense to me. So everybody matters. Everybody matters. And no matter who they are, what status they are in the community, they all need to be touched by God. Amen. And we got to do that. We have to do that. Listen, I'm looking at that board. I'm trying not to look at it. It says something inside of me says, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because either they're not here because of something else going on, or they're not getting what they need. I'm going on. Okay. I'm trying not to look. From the head of state to the leper beggar on the street, Jesus touched everybody. From everybody. He touched every prostitute. He touched every leper that he walked. When he walked by, he didn't touch and heal everyone. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, when he came into a city, the city knew he was there. When he came into a city, something changed in their life. When he came into a city, the things that used to matter seemed to change a little bit. When he came into a city, people understood there was something different that has just entered into our gates. And so I want to ask you a question this morning. Is there something different about you? Are you just a church person that goes to church on Sunday, but nothing really different about you? Because we're supposed to be different. I'm supposed to be in the world, but not of the world. I'm supposed to be His righteousness. I'm supposed to be saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. I'm supposed to be different in my job. I'm supposed to be different in everything that I do. My actions are supposed to be different. The things that I do in my life are supposed to be different. We have to minister to this city. Somehow, some way, we've got to minister to everybody in the city. After he left the city was never the same. Cities were turned upside down by the preaching of the gospel. The feeding of people. The teaching of the Word of God. The healing of the sick. The influence of the young. The call to follow. The call to follow to the young adults. Caring for the aged. Compassion for the sinful. Correction for the righteous. Pity for the poor. Understanding of the rich. Praise for the hardworking. And a rebuke of the lazy. That's what Jesus did. He came into a city feeding people, teaching the Word, healing the sick, influencing the young, calling to follow the young adults, caring for the aged, compassion for the sinful. He didn't walk up and kick a sinner in the head and say, I knew you were going to hell. I don't know why God ever created you. Didn't do that. Correction for the righteous. I can't do that. Father, He corrected me. Pity for the poor. Understanding of the rich. Praise for the hardworking. I believe that God likes hardworking people. Amen. I believe that just makes God happy. And a rebuke of the lazy. If you're lazy, let the Lord rebuke you. There's no sense in laziness.
That's right. Come on.
Luke chapter 9. I'll get to read the scripture so I can hurry up so you guys can. Luke chapter 9. I'm going to read out of the New King James. If you guys don't mind. I'm going to know whether you're right or not. So 9:51. Now it came to pass when the time had come for him to be received up, that he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face, and they went and entered the village of Samaritans to prepare for him. But they did not receive him because his face was set for a journey to Jerusalem. I'm reading the right thing, right? Okay. Now listen to me. I hear people whispering like I'm doing the wrong thing. And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, do you want us to command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, just as Elijah did? But he turned and rebuked them and said, you don't know what manner of spirit you are of. For the Son of Man did not come to destroy men's lives, but save. He came to save their lives, not to destroy them. And they went to another village. Would you pray with me? Father, thank you for another opportunity to preach. Thank you for another opportunity to touch your people. I give you honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Everybody said, Amen. Jesus' whole existence was to save people, not to destroy people. I understand that there are standards that we have to live up to and we have to bear. I understand that the Word of God tells us how to live, and the book is right and we're wrong. I don't care what you think. I don't care what some slick-haired, shiny-shoed preacher told you. Whenever the book says it's wrong, regardless of how I feel about it. And so whenever I look at the Word of God and I see about ministering to the city, I read some of these statistics a while back, and some of you may remember, but the median income in Seminole is $29,950. $29,950. In Seminole, the poverty line, there's 26.5% of Seminole County is below the poverty line. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. That's a quarter of the county is below poverty. That's not good. That's not good. The median income in Oklahoma is $45,339, with only 16.5% of Oklahoma being in the poverty level. So we're 10% higher in poverty and make $20,000 less in Seminole County. That does not equal great success in the financial areas of people's lives. Now, those statistics are from 2015, I believe, so they may be a little different, but not much. Not much. And in the past few years, it seems that the dynamic of our city is changing. The people who knew the greatness of our cities around us, Seminole, Wewoka, Holdenville, and the surrounding areas, have passed away. And there's a generation that's coming up that all they've ever known is struggle and poverty. And they don't know what it was like to grow up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s in the Seminole Tri-City area when it was prosperous. And listen, I grew up here before anything was north of town. There were no businesses. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was no Cash Saver. There wasn't even a strip mall. There was no Ace Hardware. That was a pawn. There was no McDonald's or United Motors or the Best Western. None of that was there. I know that's hard to believe, but I grew up on the north end of Highland Street, and I can promise you that's where Brother Ford had cows. Truth. Truth. There was nothing here. We had a Dairy Queen. We had a Big T Tasty Freeze on the corner of 9 and 99. There was a Dairy Cup. We called it Dirty Cup over on Broadway. Sonic was at the other end of Broadway. We had the Big Chief drive-in over by the school on Bourne Boulevard now. We called it State Street back in the day. There was nothing here. But somebody said we can do better, and they began to have businesses come because there was money flowing because of the oil industry. And so people began to move. We moved here in 1969, and we began our life here in 1969. So can I share with you that generation, my generation that grew up here when it was prosperous, and we watched the oil bust in the early 80s, and we watched people flee from here as fast as they came here, because in my school, I remember having, we had like 25 to 30 kids per classroom because we've always had school issues. We never have had big enough classes. We've always had school issues with size in school. And so I just remember that when I grew up, there was almost 10,000 people here one year, and boom, it was 8,500 the next year because of the oil bust, and the oil industry blew up and there wasn't jobs. Right. And so they moved away. Right up the street here, where you go up University, in that empty lot was a mobile home park. Right. Yeah. Okay, the Paces owned it. I guess Rodney still owns it. I don't know. But Every lot was full. There was a trailer house in every lot. The reason I know that is I was the paper boy for these streets, and I had every house in the lot. And it was like, oh, it was just a bunch. There was like 30 trailers in that lot. You look at it now, it's completely empty and it's for sale. So what I'm saying is this, is that we grew up at a time that was prosperous. I did. My generation grew up at a time that was prosperous. I watched Walmart being built because I'd go down there and watch them drag dirt from the Filio's farm and drag dirt from that hill and put it over there to build Walmart because it was a floodplain and you couldn't build anything. So they had to take the dirt from where First Baptist is, that hill across. That used to not go through anyway. They took all that dirt off that hill and put where Ace Hardware is now. That's why there's that big open spot where there's nothing there behind Ace Hardware. Where they took the dirt from. And I watched them do that. And I watched them build Safeway. I remember my mom being so excited we had a Safeway. Because before that you had Humpty Dumpty and Chesser's. Come on now. That's what we had. Now, I'm going somewhere. It's not just memory lane. I'm going to go somewhere in a second. Okay? We had Humpty Dumpty and Chesser's. And we had Gibson's, is where the kids are going to school now. It was Gibson's. Walmart before there was Walmart. Okay? You could get ice cream and tires in the same place. It was great. Okay? And shoes and shirts and whatever else you need. It was great. We had Otasco. Anybody remember Otasco? I thought it was somebody's name until I was older. Oklahoma Tire and Supply Company is what it is. But I thought it was just somebody named Otasco had a store. I didn't know. We had Whackers. What's Whack? Green Spray Grocery? I forgot our Green Spray. Green Spray Grocery. Yes. You know where Richards is at? It was right in that little empty lot, a little skinny store right there. We had an IGA store in the parking lot of the old, across from O'Reilly. That's where my grandparents used to shop, and the wood floors were all buckled. Truth. That was as late as 1976, because I got a 1976 sticker from there for the bicentennial. Paul's Auto, that's right. It burned. We had Sears, but there was Streetman's and Redbud and Sears. Okay, and so all that stuff, ready? Now listen. But I grew up in a generation where this place was transforming, and now it's transforming in another direction. It's transforming in a direction that I'm not really particularly glad about. It's not prospering. It seems like we're now with the new school. I'm praying. I'm praying that people begin to develop out there. Listen, one more memory lane and I'll leave you alone. I used to walk to Northwood. I was the first class to go 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade at Northwood. And I walked from my house, from the end of Highland Street. I'd walk behind Walmart, and the Baptist church was being built when I was walking to 4th grade. Okay? It wasn't even there. It was still over here. It was being built when I walked. There was nothing over there. Eureka Street did not go through. It dead ended, and it was a trail. That's God's honest truth. I know it doesn't seem like that now, but Eureka Street did not go through. There was no Baptist church. There were no houses. It was the dump. That's what it was. God's honest truth. It was the dump. And there was nothing there until they put that school there, and then all of a sudden, boom! Look what's over there now. I'm praying that happens on Highway 9. I'm praying there's businesses that go in there and housing that goes in there. I'm praying because we need something to change a generation's mindset from this is all I'm going to have all my life to no, God's going to bless me. We need something to minister to the city and a church that says, you know what? We're going to do this. We need something to boost us and get us going. I pray somebody buys that acreage that's over there that used to be a quick stop there. There's still the circle drives there, half circle drives there. I hope somebody develops that area. I don't know whose pipe yard that is, but I hope they sell it and somebody puts a strip mall. Something over there. I just need something to change the mindset of some kids that have grown up and seen nothing but their downtown, the buildings burn, and there's nothing. Listen, we walked through, when we had the homecoming parade, we walked through the old Parks Drug floor, and I could just, you can still see where the bar was, and the soda fountain, was, and you can still see the tile floor, and Naomi and I were just walking through, having memory lane a little bit, and just walking through there, because she worked there for a long time, but all I've ever seen is their downtown crumbling and nothing happening, and they need to be ministered to somehow, some way, because I don't know if you know it or not, but $29.9 is not a lot of money, and neither is $45.3, but it's a lot better than $29.9, and I don't know what you make, and that's none of my concern, and none of my business, but what I'm saying is this: we can do better with what God gives us. Amen? We can do better. We can do better. Jesus said you'll always have the poor with you. Minister to the poor doesn't mean you have to just give them money. We got to give them Jesus. Amen. We got to put Jesus in somebody's face. We got to tell them, hey, this is what Jesus can do for you, and I got to be an example of what He's done in my life. You can't listen. Don't tell me what Jesus can do for me while you're not living what you say you believe. Amen. If you either believe it or not.
That's right.
Ripley, you either believe what God says or not.
Come on.
You either do what He says or don't. But don't tell me God will do it.
Come on.
And then don't act like God will do it.
That's right.
It means all of those things and even more. We got to give. We got to help. We got to help. All the stuff we do. Thank God for you guys that do all that stuff. Poverty sneaks into a man's soul and eats away, and then he finds himself in the middle of hopelessness. I have a bunch of kids that sit out here on this basketball court every day. Every day. Every day I'm here, I make a point to go over there. Yeah. Every day. Why? Because they're worth it. Amen. Do they come to church here? No. Do they cause problems here? Yes. Do they leave trash? Yes. Are they pain in the neck? Yes. They're hanging out. Yeah. And Jeff's going to go find them. Yeah. And they may not know who you are, and they may not know who my wife is, and they may not know anything else, but they know that that's the preacher. That's the preacher. I don't go over and yell at him. I go over, I'm not the get off my lawn guy. You kids get off my yard. I'm not. As long as they're not tearing anything up, I don't care. Let's tear stuff up. Yeah, yell at them. I'm not telling you not to yell at them if they're over there breaking bottles on the ground. Yeah, tell them to stop. You know, it's not hard to tell them to stop. They know who you are, though. Or is this somebody yelling at them? So I go over there every time. It's every day. They're there every day. And we had to run some people off that were causing some trouble and breaking some stuff. We just have to. You can't have them around there just tearing stuff up. You can't have them over breaking your van windows and stuff and say, oh, that's okay, you little sweetie. No. Get rid of them. They go find Jesus where they need to find Jesus. But if they're just over there hanging out, then I'm going to walk across that bridge. And I'm going to go grab them up and say, hey, man, what's going on? How you doing? I saw a couple of them at McDonald's yesterday, and I asked if I could borrow $2. All they ever want from me is money. So I asked him, I said, hey, you got $2? I'm about to get something to eat. I said, but you want money from me? So I got to cut up with them and have a little rapport with them. Yeah. So they had $8, whatever they had, and their meal was $7 and whatever. And he said, you got 50 cents? I don't need your 50 cents. I need $2. And so anyway, just messing with them. Okay, just messing with them. The whole point of this is this. The kids that I have that are sitting across there have never seen anything really in their life. They're about 16, 17 years old. They're struggling. They've seen their city crumbling. They've seen their town hurting. And I just think that we can do better. I think we can minister to people. Amen. I just say we're going to write checks out to everybody. Because that doesn't fix the problem. If that fixed the problem, the government had the problem fixed in the 60s, right? Don't look at me cross-eyed. If just giving people money fixes the problem, then the problem's fixed, right? No. The problem is to give Jesus. In every aspect. Not just go over there and say, y'all need to read that. No. They're not going to read it. They're not going to read it. That's not going to happen. They're if I can go over there and I can have a rapport with them, they can find out that Pastor Jeff isn't some monster that's going to condemn our soul to hell. Are they saved? Probably not. Is there a hell? Yeah. Is it real? Yeah. But I got to be able to talk to them before I can convince them. I'm not afraid of them. Teenagers don't scare me. They don't. What are they going to do to me? Kill me and eat me? I'll weigh all of them. It's not chunk them in the creek. Whatever. It don't matter to me. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of their language. Oh, they cussed. So did you.
Come on.
It's amazing to me how we soon forget, had it not been for Jesus, what your language would be. It's amazing to me how soon we forget where Jesus brought us from. It's amazing to me how soon we forget, had it not been for Jesus, you've been drunk last night in the club and just now getting up. Because football's going to start 10 minutes, so you'd be like, there's the dog. And so you soon quickly forget, had it not been for Jesus, there would you be.
That's right. Come on.
I'm so glad that the Lord saved me. Amen. It's ministry to the city, and not just simply ministry to the church. How many in here are saved? Raise your hand. Raise it high. Why do I need to tell you about Jesus? Could you explain that to me? Why do I need to preach a salvation message to everybody that says they're saved? Why? I'm just asking. I'm not belittling you. I'm just asking. What? I just remember. I remember being in Brother Turner's office. And Brother Turner, I don't understand. And he said, "Well, don't you understand?" I said, "Why is it that God gives me salvation messages and I preach them and I ask anybody to come forward and everybody raises their hand and say that they're saved?" I'm not going to tell you what he told me. I'm going to tell you. I just asked those questions. Why is it that God gives you salvation messages over and over and over, but everybody in the house is saved? Can I tell you why? Because he's trying to remind you about what he's done in your life. He's trying to help you go forward. Because, guys, listen. There's a city out there that needs Jesus. City out there that needs Jesus. And please don't get upset with me because I said something about the poverty level. Listen, it's different for everybody. Listen, I don't care what those statistics say. People always get irritated about that. I don't care what they say. If you're taking care, you got your house paid for, you're doing your thing, man, do your thing. Do your thing. Just because, don't let that line define you, well, I must be in poverty. That's a national line that I just used it for an example of where we're at in the state. I don't care how much money you make. That line doesn't define me. I'm not in poverty. Poverty is a spirit. It's a mindset. Listen, man. There are people that don't have anything that aren't poverty. They just live in life. And they probably live a life a lot less stressful than when you are. Because they're just doing their thing, man. They're getting up, they got food to eat, a house, and they got stuff. They're good. They're good. I want you to, don't let that 29.9 define whether you're a poverty person or not. Really? Have a little more in you than that.
Amen.
Don't let somebody define who you are. Let God tell you who you are. Don't let some government guy say, well, if you don't make 29 now, how do they know that? They don't live here. They don't know that. But sir, let me just share one more thing with you and I'll quit. Poverty sneaks into a man's soul and eats away and finds himself in the middle of hopelessness, with no one giving him a way out but the governing officials that entrap him even more. No one can define you. No one can help you other than God. I'm telling you. Listen, can I give you some relief? Yes. I can shoot you up with heroin. Give you some relief, right? But what happens? Now you're addicted. say you're addicted the first time, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, my back is hurting. Brother Matthew, back issues forever. Had he allowed himself, you know what he'd be right now? He'd be an addict to pain medication. Had he allowed himself. But I remember him coming and talking to me sometimes and saying, my back is killing me, but I'm not taking any of those pain pills because I don't want to get addicted. Very smart young man. Very smart young man. It gives you relief, but now all of a sudden, now you're addicted to it. Now you're paying for somebody else's pills, and they make them a drug dealer. Because they think you're a friend and they're trying to help you out. Well, it got quiet then, didn't it? It got quiet then, didn't it? Only God can give us relief. That without any sorrow added to it.
Amen.
Only God can give us relief. So listen, ministry to the city is this. Whatever aspect we can do it. Now listen, I'm going to speak to our leaders for just a little bit, then I'm going to speak to the staff, I'm going to speak to the leaders, but we have to do things in order, right? Spoke to the board, then I'll speak to the leaders, then I'll speak to the staff. And that's just how I do things. I have too long not done things the way I feel like God's laid upon my heart to do. That's stopping. I don't know what's changed in my life. I don't know what flipped the switch, but I'm just done trying to do ministries somebody else's way. Yeah, I have to do it my way and what God's called me to do. And so, just letting you know, we have got to start ministering to the city, not just by. Listen, I'm not saying we haven't done anything. Please don't look at me like that. We do a lot of stuff for this city. I had a guy, Neil Craig, I'll say who was. He said, Jeff, I'm going to tell you how much I appreciate what the church does in this community. I didn't know he knew we did anything. The only reason I went there is because now I hit my car. And so I had to go there, and he said, I just want you to know how much I appreciate what your church does. I said, Neil, really? He said, no, everybody knows what you guys do. And I was like, I have no idea. No clue. All we do is feed people, clothe people, help people. That's all we do. I don't know what else we're supposed to do. And so I'm a pretty simple kind of guy. I don't know what else to do but just help people. I don't know. So here we go. When Jesus was born, he was given financial wealth. He knew how to minister to the wealthy. He understood the trappings of wealth. Well, I don't believe Jesus had. Okay, what were the three gifts? Let's skip over the gold thing real quick. I think they found 2 gold coins and gave him. Oh, we better give. Oh, do you have any money? I don't have money. You have money? We got to give an offering. Got your dollar? I got your. Okay. No. No. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. None of the three were cheap. None of the three were just simple. They were gifts that God had the wise men bring his son. And I don't know how much gold it was, but it was enough to finance his life.
Come on.
Dude lived 33 and a half years off of, well, I know the ladies ministered to him, I see him spit at you. But I know the ladies ministered to him, he had ministry in his house. Listen, I get that. But he financed his trip to Egypt to keep Herod from killing him.
Come on.
Financed the trip back. Financed his life. Come on now. I think Jesus walking around here with holes in his sandals. Come on now, help me out. He had to back up to the wall and pray because he was embarrassed there was that hole in his sandal. But God saw fit to show him how he could minister to the whole city. How do you minister? I don't know, I'm finished. I'm going. He ministered to the sick. When I think of the sick, I think of those who are diseased and weak and vulnerable. That's what I think of. Those that can't do for themselves. That's what I think of. I think of those that need care to become healthy again. That little magic pill, that operation, that treatment. It's amazing to me. There was a sign I saw the other day that says you can't out-train a bad diet. I thought, what do you mean, man? That's not, what do you mean? But you can't out-train a bad diet. preach that. I can preach that. My first thought is to pray for them, to be the standard prayer. God, in the name of Jesus, heal the sickness off their body. Never thinking of the past sickness and what's the cause
Come on.
of the sickness. In John 5, 1 through 14, I'm not going to read all of it to you, and I'm about to cut you loose so you can quit scoring. John 5, 1 through 14. After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and the Jews went up to Jerusalem. There was a Jerusalem by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In this lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For the angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. Stop. Do you think this is the first time Jesus has ever been by the pool of Bethesda? No. Jesus at this time is about 33 years old. So since Jesus was 5, this guy's been there, this guy's been 5 years before Jesus was born. This guy's been at that pool.
Come on.
Interesting, isn't it? If you ever get to go to Israel, which I wish the whole church could go, you guys would love it. The pool of Bethesda is not like how we had a swimming pool and a pool of Bethesda and people dance in the water and then that's not. It is a steep place with pools everywhere. It is a neat place. It's a steep place. And listen, healthy is hard to walk up and down it because of the slope. Go verse 6. When Jesus saw him lie and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, how did he know? He'd been by. He'd seen it. He'd been by. Okay. He said unto him, wilt thou be made whole? Verse 7. The impotent man answered and said, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me in the pool. But while I'm coming, another steppeth down before me. Verse 8. Jesus said to him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. Keep on. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. Verse 10. And Jesus therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for that to take care of thy bed. I don't know why I have trouble saying that. He answered him, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked they him, What man is it which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk? And he that was healed was not who it was, for Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place last month. Afterward Jesus findeth him in the temple and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest the worst thing come unto thee. Let me ask you a question. If Jesus had seen this guy, and this wasn't the first time that Jesus had been by the pool of Bethesda, there comes a time when ministry has to be done. I've lived in this city for 48 years. And there just comes a time when ministry has to be done. And ministry isn't just about coming to church, being blessed by God, and going home, coming back on Wednesday, being blessed, going home, coming back on Sunday, being blessed, and going home. That's not ministry. That's being ministered to.
Yeah, come on.
The ministry is taking what you got today and taking it to somebody that doesn't know what's going on. That's ministry. Ministry also is this, a group of people deciding it's not good enough anymore.
Amen.
A group of people deciding, I'm changing my city. A group of people deciding, my love for my city outweighs the love of my wants and my desires and my agenda. A love for my people of my city outweighs me. I know you're important. Everybody's important. We're all important. Everybody sitting here right now, you're an important person. And God has you here because He loves you and He wants you to know how much He cares for you. We're all important. But we're not as important as we think we are sometimes. When the weight of the city falls on us to go out and reach out to the city and do something different than we've always done. I love our ministries. I love what we do. I love the people that do it, and I'm thankful for you. I'll get there in just a second. I know it's 11:12, but I'll get there in just a second. Hey, keep that up there for me, please, Ethan. But hear me. Hear me. We have sicknesses in our city that are not physical.
Come on.
We have spiritual things in our city that are not physical. There's spiritual attacks in our city that we have to minister to. What do you mean? Poverty, I agree with Dean. Poverty is not just not having money. It's a spirit of poverty. I've preached to that before. It's a spirit because you get involved in it. And the next thing you know, all you know is being broke. And how can I manipulate the system? How can I make somebody feel sorry for me on Facebook? I know it's not popular to say that, but it's the truth. How can I manipulate your emotions that you give to me? And the problem is not that. The problem is it's a spirit that you've allowed to attach itself to you. And now that's all you can think of. And you need to break it. But you know what? You can't break something you don't know is on you. And you have to have an example of somebody. Somebody. You have to have an example. I was listening to a man preach the other day, and he said, I'm trying to be a father, and I'm trying to be a husband, and I never had an example of either one. And I was like, whoa, never thought of that. I had the greatest dad in the world. I never thought of that. How blessed and how privileged my life has been. He said, I'm 30, whatever years old. I've never seen a man be a father, and I've never seen a man be a husband. And I'm trying to be both to my wife, and I don't know how to do it. I thought, my God, what in the world? What in the world? But God can show him. God has shown him, and then he's there strong. They do marriage seminars, and they do all this stuff about how to live with your spouse, and how they're ministering out of what the devil intended to crush and kill him. He's got a ministry, and he's saving people's marriages. I'm telling you, God can turn it around, but you've got to be willing to let God turn it around. Amen? Last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to let you out of here. I didn't get any of that preached, but hallelujah, doesn't matter. Listen. Ministry starts with us. We're supposed to be between the porch and the altar. We're supposed to be in the gap.
Amen.
I can promise you this. Somebody that doesn't know Christ is not evil. Not everybody. They're not ignorant. They're not stupid. They're not ridiculously dumb. They just don't know what it is that you say you know. I know about Jesus, and I know what He's done in my life. So how can I keep that to myself? And when I see my neighbors, and I see my friends, and I see my relatives, and I see, how do I keep that to myself? Jesus has saved my life. He has blessed my life. Had it not been for an Assembly of God church that went and got a dirty little girl out in the middle of a field, my life would be jacked up.
Come on.
But my mother, sitting right there, 84 years old. When my dad wouldn't come to church, she brought her son and her daughter and her kids and said, you're going to church. I don't care what your dad does. You're coming to church. And she taught me how to love God when I didn't want to love God. And she taught me how to give when I didn't want to give. And she taught me how to come to church when I didn't want to come to church. She taught me those things, and I'm thankful for my mother. I'm thankful for my mother. I wasn't thankful when I was 15, but I'm thankful at 48.
Come on.
I was mad at her when I was 15. Because we were in the middle of a football game. And as we actually played, we were doing this. We were actually playing football. You know, we're actually like tackling each other and on the dirt and ground and stuff. It wasn't like this. You know, it wasn't like on a video game, because our video games were trash. But we're actually, and I had to stop because it was 6:30. It was time to go to church.
Come on.
And everybody made fun of me. Hey, you at that church. My life's pretty good. Some of their lives aren't. Amen. But they're not evil because they don't serve God. They just don't know what you know. I wish I could get across to the church that people are just people. Lost people are just people that don't know nothing about Jesus. That's all they are. They just need an example. They need somebody to be an example. They need somebody to minister to them and love them and care for them. And not get mad at them because they talk bad. Because they went out and got drunk the night before. Don't write them off. God didn't write you off. Listen, I was one of the privileged kids in this church, and I know it. Because I was Jeff and Brother Turner loved me, he let me get away with more trash than he let other people get away with, and I know it. I don't back away from it, and I'm not ashamed. I know it. I was one of the privileged because of who I was. Not everybody got that opportunity, and I'm not speaking bad about Brother Turner at all. We all do it, depending on the family we know and stuff like that. We don't mean to, but we just do. But if I could tell you one thing, and you get anything out of this message today, and it's been a jumbled up mess, I'm sorry, but if you get anything out of it, get this. You weren't evil, were you? Maybe you had your life back and stuff, but think about what you were. Think about who you were. And think about who you are now. You weren't out killing people. You just weren't living for God. All you have to do is bridge that gap.
Amen.
And tell them, guys, there's a better way to live than that. Let me just show you what God did in my life. But you gotta build a relationship. There's gotta be, Ethan's gotta build you a bridge across the creek. Because I can still jump across the creek, thank God. But he built that nice wooden bridge across the creek. And I'm telling you, I think I'm not going to use it to go minister to 6 little kids over here. I guarantee you. So I'm going to go talk to them. And I'm going to hug them, and I'm going to high five them, I'm going to love them. I'm going to tell them to pick up the trash. And they're going to look at me like, that's my trash. I said, I don't care, pick it up. And I go back up today and there's some more. It drives me crazy. But I love it. Stand your feet with me.